to see the T setting up outside the lobby. Now, chances are they might just try to go for something a little bit more basic in the early rounds. Try and put some pressure onto Liquid, maybe force a few slip-ups, but Grim ready and waiting. However, the trades, Vince, pretty damn fast coming out from Triumph.
That's impressive. The Glock work is on point. Post-plant coming up, and Naf and Fallen, the last two players left alive. Certainly putting Liquid on sort of the hot spot, and they've done just that right off the bat. So excellent work. They'll be feeling very good about that outcome, and if they can take down Fallen in the process, that would be the cherry on top. But it seems like they're going to bypass him and head to the T-spawn instead. Confident do they feel in their own ability to retake? They're going to be going in for it early on, and although Elige gets one frag, this is where the MAC-10 should stick the landing. There are some casualties, and Liquid are making this a bit more costly than Triumph would have been hoping for, but the round will still be under their belt with Elige on a 3k. Very nice work, but has been unable to pick up any of the fallen weapons. And Triumph will hold on to these two AKs more than likely. I doubt that they peek out too hard. He may be able to pick up that kit that's in main currently after the bomb explodes.
Now, he is going to give his life away, and the rest of the roster are a little bit further behind, but it could have just been an idea to try and pull some rotations. It seems though that they're going in a lot looser instead, almost in waves, 2 by 2. Unfortunately, this time they're not screaming hurrah.
Yeah, this time they're
That's
probably...
a niche joke.
They're probably going to be pretty disappointed with the outcome. And, you know, we were just building up about this idea of Sheikh Zula making calls and them sticking to it, pushing through together as a cohesive unit. As you said, they were just trickling in. It was one by one, conga lining to death, basically. So for all of the props that we just gave them, that is the other side of the coin where Triumph aren't on the same page. They get punished, and Liquid, they scraped together a very poor buy. They didn't even fully invest into this. And it's looking very likely they come out ahead and not just win, but keep 4 players alive, trade up to a bunch of AK-47s, and now they are into the latter stages of this half, especially with a lot of rifles in play, because Maui talked about Sheikh Zula seeing some weaknesses. We'll get back onto that point in a second, because Fallen showing no weakness on ramp alongside Naf. The bomb's been dropped down, and there's already a rotation as well. Elige is getting around the back, but he won't even be called upon because Grim sprays them both down. And I really hope, Tom, that the weakness that Sheikh Zula spotted on the approach, looking towards control room, Flash will be followed up momentarily. Actually hasn't been tossed out until it's too late. The bomb gets dropped down. Should have tossed in from Connector. And now the double spray from Grim, but he can only get one. Fallen's position is so brutal with the AWP. I would be amazed if he gets more than 1 kill from this spot. Now, he may get the element of surprise. There's the first, but now they know exactly where he is. And although Viz is low on 2 HP, he does have Sheikh Zula alongside him. Time, though, is beginning to become a bit of an issue. They still need to get this bomb picked up. They still need to get it planted down. And it will take a few seconds to get the bomb planted, which allows Fallen an opportunity. The grenades finished off Sheikh Zula, and now Viz on 2 HP is all that stands. Is the legendary Brazilian AWP going to clutch it? No. Viz takes his head off, but that was so much closer than it needed to be, Tom.
Again, though, it looks like they're just setting up for the exact same push we've seen attempted multiple times. This time, Sheikh Zula going to wrap in from Mini. And actually, already, he's picked off Stewie. There's a multitude of frags just coming in a matter of seconds. And, well, I don't think the remaining 2 players can really go for anything here, Vince. It looked like Liquid were all set up, but maybe the Crossfire had a missing piece.
Already 4 rounds on the T side. Liquid have lost the last 2 on the bounce. They have to save. Now, obviously, with all their saved up cash, they'll be good to buy again, but
for him to make the move and, well, literally following his lead.
They go in again, barraging onto A site, some excellent utility in the form of flashes, but now Liquid beginning to just rise to the top again. Naf making moves, Fallen already 11 frags to his name, Pop flashing out, wants to go in for a peek. B-Wills may have him dead to rights, but misses his shots, and now in comes Naf. The flank is good, and Liquid just about hold on and pick up a 5th. So early doors, Liquid do take the advantage, but we've seen them get the opening pick and let rounds slip away. Naf, timing nearly works against him. Flash up and over. He'll be calling for some help, and it's Elige that's on point. Spray is good for 1. Can't quite get a second, but weakens up Viz. And Naf will pick up the pieces. Fallen goes in for the penultimate frag of the round. You'd have to assume that Cynic is living on borrowed time, and Naf has collected. Liquid regain the lead again.
They were stuck between Elige and the remaining members of Liquid. Now, they can play their afterplants fairly safe. They're still going to be watching in case there's a second player flanking, but the fact is, they're all coming in from the ramp. Stewie, though, Well, he doubles up his kills. He's finally found a second one, and that's the start of everything crumbling, it seems. But Viz, he's trying to cling on, and he's found himself a second already. The defuse has to begin. It's a bait, trying to get him to peek, and Viz has not fallen for it. He will eventually go down, but the time has gone. He will win a round for Triumph, and they will cling on to their 6th. Yeah, we go straight back to aggression. It's been relatively successful. Pace change as well from Triumph. Grim will be able to dominate the first, but the trade's in thick and fast. He does, however, have some support in the form of Naf. Actually, they're going to continue this push again, the vent dive. It seems to be a big part of the game plan at the moment for Triumph. Again, financially wrecked by the last round, but they are still going to get a bomb plant, and they are still going to get an after plant situation as well, where it seems like Liquid have definitely had some struggles.
This time, though, MAC-10 in one of the hands, and they're already dropping. Galil alongside it. Sheikh Zula makes his MAC-10 sing, but still a player advantage for Liquids. They do have a kit. They've got a few flashbangs, and they're rapidly moving into position. B-Wills allows the first player to cross, but Alige puts him down, and now Sheikh Zula tagged down to 30 with just a MAC-10. Sprays in for the first, but that will be all he can get. A lot of disappointment on his face, but let's be honest, with the MAC-10 in that kind of position, he did as good as he could have. Liquid, though, will take the lead again, albeit with a Triumph bomb plant, at least standing and trading off very respectively against one of the better teams in the world, and certainly over on NA.
Well, this round, at least, is a throwaway. Absolutely nothing invested. Sheikh Zula, the only time he goes in last, and changing up some of their strategies a bit, but they're definitely being pressured here. Alige, though, his outside dominance has been something to fear. Just taking fights out in the open. He stood in no man's land, and he's surviving. Just about, at least, on 22 HP, and almost takes down B-Wills. Even still, though, he's done more than enough. Cynic left 1 versus 3, but he quickly gets 2 back. And somehow, it's now him versus Naf. It'll only be the footsteps that give things away. The door opened is actually Bay. He's going to catch out Naf. That is genius from Cynic. Playing him like a fool. He will bring a 7th round onto the board for Triumph as they head into the second half.
Well, we expect to see Stewie have a much better performance in this half, where he can be leading the charge a little bit more and getting back to the Stewie of old. But if they do concede this pistol, things are going to get a bit interesting. Goes out first to fall, and Alige just about holds on to his life, but now B-Wills from above will be raining down pain alongside Cynic. We'll have a bit of inspiration from his 1v3 to close out the first half, but now it will fall down to a 2-on-2. The HP certainly favoring the CTs, but you can't write Alige and Fallen off, especially as Alige has the USP. The two of them dip down onto the B side, where Sheikh Zula's waiting for them on the cross. He doesn't even need to hit a headshot, just a bullet anywhere on Fallen, and he's a goner.
Surely, right? Yeah, he's smoked things off. He's going to make his way on towards the bomb and just start that defusal. Cynic now there to hold things off, and scoreline, Vince, is equal. Gotta be careful, as it would have been one hell of a flick if he managed to land it, but Alige continues. What? He got a second and a third? That second kill didn't even register in my brain. I was like, oh, he just tapped a bullet, but there's someone dead in the kill feed. This man is truly ridiculous, and while he's one of the reasons I even feel like this game has been close. Sure, as you mentioned, there's been plenty of players fragging, but yeah, I really want to see that second kill slowed, because as I said, the first time, I didn't even realize it happened. Like, that was such a ridiculous shot from Alige. Trying to sneak their way out, in fact. It might have got a little bit further than the CTs actually expected. Cooper, though, nice shot to kick things off, and actually there's a couple of trades in the mix. Cooper, with another headshot from the scout, has made this one interesting. Grim, only on a MAC-10, but I imagine there's rifles to be had. But more importantly, he wants to get that bomb down.
He also has Alige, a man that has definitely turned it up a few gears these last few rounds, and he's gone in for more. They expect a double player stack. They would have heard footsteps, but they also know that main is a real issue. They've dealt with Cooper. He was already low in the previous exchange, and now Sheikh Zula with a Desert Eagle by his side has got to try and carve out a path towards a clutch, and he's pulled off a beautiful shot onto Alige, but he's been tagged down so heavily, and the MAC-10 with the maneuverability behind it will prove to be that bridge too far. Liquid pick up a 10th round. I definitely would agree that this is an integral moment in the map. It could very well sway heavily in favor of Liquid if they convincingly pick this one up and they walk straight out of the squeaky door. Stewie gets one, is nullified afterwards, but Grim instantly there to eviscerate, as is Fallen. And they have completely lopsided and taken this A site with style. Unleash, a beautiful one-tap onto Viz. He loses his life, but the damage has been done. There's not really much that Cooper can do other than maybe take a few players with him. It's a nice flick, but it's a drop in the bucket because he's not going to save the round. That much is for sure. I say that, actually. They keep pushing him, but there was no kit anyway. So although Fallen is going to be tagged down low, he still holds his ground, picks up the AWP for himself. May very well get one, but it's not really an angle you're expecting to get more than one. And of course they check that because there's no gunfire coming from control room. The squeaky doors, decon, nothing. So why wouldn't they check that spot? And Triumph really struggling to get any kind of a foothold. Cooper's given them a brief opportunity, a glimmer of a dash of a hope. But now in come the Sharks. Unleash devours B Will's hole. Insta headshot. He's on some madness right now. 25 frags to his name and showing no signs of slowing down.
He might be able to do. He's going to end up directly above it, but not take too much damage.
It does seem like they lack a bit of that X factor, you know? You're looking at a player like Elige, Naf, these kind of guys that can really come out. Grim's been having a great performance too. And Cynic at least will be plugging the first two players down before Fallen and Naf come straight back in. But the issue is, it doesn't feel like Triumph have that player that can like really take control over the game and just enforce his will on Liquid.
Oh, Stewie might be in a bit of trouble here. Throwing a flash is not the best way to get out of that vent position, and actually Shakezilla has stepped up. It's left onto Elige though, and at this stage, honestly, it's hard to doubt him. He's been flashed off the angle, but gets a chance to take the jewel. Some damage done onto him. The bomb being tapped, he's actually going to use up almost his whole clip, but has the opportunity to reload, but they're on the bomb. He has to now do something about it. They walk in, he pulls out the Glock, he spams, but can't get anything. It will be Shakezilla again. We talk about impact and this man.
And then plays around it and so nearly clutches out for his teammates.
Oh, no.
Cooper, 100 to 1 off a Molotov. He does get the leg, but he's down. What happened there?
I think that spread far further than he ever expected it to, and maybe a little bit more shallow than it would have been normally, but yeah, that's just a mistake that happens. And while I love it. I absolutely love it, especially after the last round where Shakezilla just sneaks his way up the vent and manages to kill off Stewie.
I just love these player cams, man, because if you look at Shakezula's face, that is the face of pure disgust.
Oh, Elige, he's looking for his 30 bomb. I think that's all there really is to talk about at this stage. 29 and 11. This CT side has been rough, and there it is. The 30th kill, but he does take a lot of damage in response. In all honesty, this has been one of the best starts we've seen, and jumping straight into the crosshair of Shakezilla. He's now left completely blind, but he will be able to retreat and has support in the form of Cooper. This is one of the weaker purchases we've seen from them as of recent, but it's going fairly well. However, Elige... Okay, I thought he was actually going to get something there. Grim, again, trading. He's tagged low. Naf, the only healthy member, but 2 players are dropped. That could be it. It's left all on to Viz to try and clutch this out. A 1 versus 2, and Grim just decapitates him as they go past. It's almost a flawless T-side coming out from Liquid Vince, and, well, it may have been a little bit rough.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agreed with you on that one. Plus, Triumph. Yesterday, I believe they played against High Coast on this map, and both teams, their CT side struggled the most as well. So even in terms of yesterday, it was a bit of an awkward encounter. Now, all 10 players still alive with a post-plant on Bomb A. This does not happen very often at all, and in amongst all this chaos, Elige and Naf have carved themselves a path towards success, with Glock headshots delivered thick and fast, and B Will's try, as he may, has been sent.
You can do the rest.
I'll just guess. All right, cheers. You gave me at least one of them, so it's a better position I would have been in.
I didn't say what country, though, so there you go.
Oh, yeah, crap. True. Viz, with the other Mag 7, is waiting in the smoke. There's a dink ahead of him that'll give him a sound cue. And he can hear the footsteps, but Grim is careful. However, his teammates are falling around him. Down to a 2-on-4, with Naf putting the bullet to the head of Cynic. The bomb has been dropped out in the site. There's still 50 seconds to go. And now Grim is going to pick up the pace, shooting Cooper in the back. And although Naf is incredibly low, he can now use the mini pit as a bit of sanctuary. His teammates getting pressured and pushed into, but Grim holds the nerve and picks up both kills, salvaging the round for Liquid, which looked like it was slipping away. Both teams coming back from deficits. Now Liquid, they've lost the first player. Shakezula gets aggressive outside of the banana, but seeing no secondary player will allow his team to know what's coming up. Elige straight out with the entry onto Viz. Cynic will put one down. Additionally, another 1-for-1 trade, but now B Wills is forced back, tagged down to 5 HP. Does a fair bit of damage to Fall in the process, but it's yet another clutch, another 2v2.
Over the last day or so, where it's a 3v3 situation and just somebody on the CT side just tries to go all in on like a 1v3.
One thing those double mollies at the top of Banana did do, though, is force 2 smokes out from Triumph, so they're really not sat on too much utility. One of them is in the hands of Cooper, who does survive. He's actually got the last smoke. Very important for him to get the kill. Keep that smoke alive. He misses a secondary shot, and also an additional one. You can see how much it meant to him, and he knows that he had the round in the palm of his hand, and now it adds pressure to the likes of Viz, who's stuck on the site with a deagle, yet to get off the mark in terms of ADR or frags, and that won't change anytime soon, as Naf puts him down with a Glock of all weapons, and Liquid look to pick up a 5th in a row. There's an AWP and an AK allocated to Triumph. They're both moving through on the short side.
There might be a slight mistake or a missed shot or somebody going all in. And it's like, I feel like there should have been at least 1 or 2 rounds that actually goes over to the Triumph side. It's just those mistakes that are costing them.
Yeah, it's nothing too spectacular, but it is effective, and it's forcing out utility from Triumph. If they want to stand and fight, they have to throw down flushes and smokes. As a result, Cynic at the back of the site had a great moment on Nuke, but he won't be able to replicate it. Teammates falling around him, and even though they did pick up a bit of a heroic last stand, there's still 13 seconds to get the bomb down. Has now been planted. Cooper and Viz move in. Viz still.
Yeah, I feel like it gets to the point where eventually you have to go for one of these rounds, because it's like, how many rounds realistically do you think that you're going to get on the T side versus Liquid? Because that's the number we're looking for. Like, even if you say something like 9, like...
It's just a delayed peak as well, isn't it? Any AWP down middle is just going to have you instantly picked off. And although there's 1 kill from B Wills on Banana that's now been joined in by Cynic, the 2 of them stand against Grim, Naf, and Fallen. And they're moving up towards A site, smoking off the brackets affords them safe passage through middle, or at least it should do. Nearly. Cynic puts 2 of them down, weakens up both of them in the process. Fallen down to 29, Grim on 52, and now Fallen has been finished and finalized. 14 HP to the hands of B Wills. Does have a bit of utility at his disposal, but the lack of HP and coming through the bottleneck.
Yeah, we've seen very few of these situations go close, even when it was even, so...
Yeah, this just looks so disjointed for me for Triumph. You see Viz peeking middle all by himself, and Elige basically deals with him. Shakezula wants to get information, wants to try and get something back in terms of momentum, but it's just shut down instantly. Triumph are moving out 1 by 1. Lack of cover for each other. And Cynic, he's been their standout player for me, or definitely up there, but there's only so much he can do by himself. It's going to be another post plant. It's going to be another round. And because if you keep sitting back like this, there's a very real possibility this goes 15-0. And although B Wills is getting some really nice extra frags with another one, at the end of the day, even if he picks up all 5, the money's fine for Liquid. It doesn't change the scoreline. You're still getting destroyed.
Oh.
Nice play from B Wills, but what does it mean, Tom? Basically nothing.
With 3 players ready and waiting, the rotation, however, is going to be quite far away.
Oh, that's a good counter flash that completely destroyed Naf's eyes. He couldn't see anything. Viz now, different angle, but the same result. Down to the hands of Elige. Stewie now moving in. And B Wills nearly got the timing on that peak, but he won't be able to stop the bomb plant. Shakezula joins him. Now moving through on Arches. Stewie going for that peak, but deciding better of it on 95 HP, but his teammate Elige on 41. They can't really afford to lose a player right now, but Stewie using that angle perfectly, ripping off heads left and right, and it all falls down to B Wills, who comes out into the open, and Liquid have escaped again. 10-0. We do see a pretty drastic change as well in terms of the the style of Triumph against High Coast yesterday. They were way more passive, just giving up banana every single round. I suppose that shows the respect they have for Liquid. No one wants Execute to come in. They're going to be second best momentarily. The flashbang has connected on both players, and they clean up with Stewie on the 2K, living up to his name. He's having a much better start to this map than Nuke.
Again, though, I think it has to be highlighted just how methodical the utility being thrown from Liquid is. Like the early nade damage, sure, they took the brunt of it, but that, I think it was a single flash thrown through that smoke. Unfortunately, yeah, Liquid a little bit more methodical than to fall into the fly trap. Nice nade. Fallen gonna catch that one in his pocket, but even still, the rotation's been caught off there. Definitely gonna be going for this one, and B-Wills, it seems like he's got a bee in his bonnet. He wants to try and take the fight to them, just going straight through the smoke. Flashbang through, but Grim executes him as he makes it to the other side. Still, will continue to double key through, but Fake Zilla, 1v3.
Been cooked alive for the most part. And this has been a declaration from Liquid.
Just the replay guy's like, come on, anything. Have we got something? Okay. Maybe we can replay this. They've got an advantage. They've done some damage to Fallen. This might be it. It's taken them a long time, but we might get a round for Triumph.
He's going to be sat there. Shows how much confidence he has and the ability of his two teammates to crack open his sight between the two of them, and allows him to go for that later flank round the back. Now, he's been caught in transition. That may throw a wrench in the works for any fast rotational play, because they're still very much sacrificing onto the site. Now, Stewie is still alive, still kicking and still taking some frags down, running out of ammunition, just one bullet left in the magazine, and Cynic puts him down, and Triumph finally have a round. In strong fashion, posting up 2 rounds back-to-back. Grim tagged down but still alive before Viz just protrudes around the edge of the smoke on the periphery and is putting down more pain. Another kill goes to Viz. Great to see him get in amongst the action towards the end of the half, but Grim and Fallen still remain for Liquid.
Fallen, you mentioned him not having much to do, but it's not going to be enough for the 1 versus 4. It has been dominant from Liquid, especially with now the CT side kicking off for Liquid. However, Vince, it looks like Stewie might be about to come under a fair bit of pressure.
Oh, smoke criminal for a reason. Through the smoke into the head of Cynic, and he will be looking for more. Doesn't get it though. Cooper wraps around the back of him. Now, to be a bit more optimistic, Triumph looked far better on their T side yesterday against High Coast than their CT side. And the same could have been said for Nuke just a few moments ago. So maybe this is where they really start to come alive. Grim puts the bullet down range onto B-Wills, and there is the successful pistol we were looking for. Triumph pick it up, saving 3 players in the process. And now the pressure, that could force Triumph into a bit of a desperation push. The smoke starts to clear. Naf misses his chances, but there are more players behind it. Boost up with the UMP for Stewie, but he gets tanked down to 29, and now 4 with the scout. Needs to be careful. He nearly finished off Stewie in the back. And instead, Stewie gets sprayed down through the smoke himself. And with Triumph picking up 2 and moving across to the site, it's looking good that they'll pick up a 4th round.
Yeah, for a moment, I thought we were going to see the save come out from Liquid, but still seems like they think they can win this. Molotov into the back corner. Fallen actually lands the headshot on Cooper as well. So back into a 3v3. Nice work from Viz and B-Wills, though. A good crossfire to deny them. And Fallen not going to be able to do anything this time. So 13-4 in hand. 30 seconds up are coming on the clock, and the execution about to begin. Grim, good spot. And actually, well, who's going to expect the leads to be there as well? He drops back, takes the second name. Stewie's rotated in, but they might be able to isolate him. And actually now there's a real chance for Triumph, as they will get the plant.
Plant down 2-on-2. Both teams have identical firepower. 1 AWP apiece, 1 AK apiece. A smoke for Liquid, but that lack of kit starting to become a bit more of an issue. This will force Liquid's hand to play a bit more aggressively. In doing so, 1 corner may go unchecked. Fallen having none of it. That experience shining through, and now Cynic, who has been the pick of the bunch, goes down to Naf. And there should be enough time for the defuse. They got there just in the nick of time, and although Triumph had their chance, it has slipped away, and with it, maybe the map will follow. 20 seconds, smoke comes down, flash behind it. Liege lining up the incendiary. They're going to have to push through the fire and the flames if they want to get to the site, and in doing so, the white swing comes in, but it's all going the way of Triumph. They've held their nerve, held their resolve. No more players to deal with them. And even though time is scarce, there's more than enough time for the bomb plant. It's a triumph. Keep pressing forward, one round at a time. Keep Liquid's economy down in the dirt. And who knows, maybe you can pull this fully back.
I think as well, it might just be my perspective rather than others. I feel like when you get a completely new team...
You saw players relieved. They weren't taking it at the end of the world. They know that it's still early on in this progress. Sheikh Zula, speaking of the man that was cracking open many a time on Nuke, he's came out with 2 quick-fire frags, and in doing so, they can wrap around onto the ace light. It's Grim alone. The timing on that weapon switch could not have been worse. And to add insult to injury, B Wills back towards T-Spawn on the ramp, has suppressed one before he is counted by Naf. This was a fully invested round, and Liquid will be losing it again. So try for getting into that kind of territory now, where they're beginning to ask a few questions of Liquid. Don't get me wrong, Liquid still are the massive favourites to convert this map and make it theirs. But considering at one point it was 13-0.
With the time ticking away, they really do have to get a move on.
There's very little room for error here, but some great utility toss towards the back of the pit. Unleash now pivoting around 2 excellent headshots. 14 seconds. Grim just needs to get 1 kill. That may be good enough, but Cooper is up to the task, and he obliterates the head. 2v2 retake, but Fallen needs to catch up to Naf, who's already made a move into the alcove. Bit of an awkward position. Only 2 flashes between the 2 of them, and B-Will's peeking out. And this is an audacious peek, considering that you're against an AWPer of Fallen, but still gets away with it, doubles up, and Triumph have hit the double digits. We're making moves up middle. Flash proceeds to push, but Alicia's aim on point for the first. Grim misses out. It was a FAMAS, but still, he's got to get that secondary frag. And now Stewie is stuck on the site alone. 2 weakened targets to potentially finish off, but he gets pre-fired round the corner. And in doing so, it's another post plant.
Instead, advantageous positions are now starting to slip away from Liquid. A 5v4, another kill coming in.
Boost behind it. There's a player still up close in that smoke. If Sheikh Zula times this correctly, he'll have both players, and the leaning tower of CTs has been toppled. And in doing so, they're hemorrhaging players once more. Now, they may not anticipate a third player to be over here, so maybe Naf gets the drop as a result of having that surprise factor, but he doesn't realize there's a player up close. He gets caught with the smoke. Oh, what the hell is going on, Triumph? How's Naf survived that?
Oh, he did so well to get 2 kills, but then Sheikh Zula, what just happened? I think he was surprised as Naf was to find someone in that smoke, but Cooper has been given a chance. Elige is going to go pushing, though the timing's not going to give him anything, but what? Now Elige misses as well! This round is falling apart completely, and Grim is left to try and save it. He's wrapped around through Banana. Incendiary thrown over will clear one angle, but Cooper's just waiting. He's holding. A single bullet will do the trick, but he's not quite going to get it. A roller coaster of a round, and Liquid... Well,
Elige will get the timing peak, though, with a FAMAS. That's the bomb that drops down alongside Sheikh Zula. Double stack in pit. Will be a difficult crossfire to contend with, but Cynic on 24 frags, make that 25. He's got to try and pull this one out the embers. B Wills, last man standing, 1v3, 20 HP to his name, bombed down in an awkward position. And this could be a devastating blow for Triumph. They've battled back. They've been so heroic, shown so much grit and tenacity, but it may be for naught. He's waiting for a peak to come through, but he has to take the initiative here, Tom. He's only got 20 seconds to play with.
There's no time. Like, what can he do here? He needs to turn on a spin bot, but hey, that's not a bad start. First kill goes his way, but it won't be enough. We were talking about the dominant side of Liquid, but let's be real. Towards that second half, the only Liquid we saw was Sweat, because that was ridiculously close.